Chat. It's time. We're back at it, man. You know what it is. I don't even talk like that. But we are animating. And you should too. Hello, friends. What's up, Feature? What's up, Modern Jack? How is everyone doing? How is everyone doing? We are back at it again. Do. I'm ready to draw some more stick figures. Dude, you were on it. Luthor, hello, buddy. Waddle Duck, Divvy. Hello, everybody. Hello, you wonderful creatures. Junko Tomorrow. We are merely hours away from the drop. Why do I sound different? I don't know. I'm messing around. Is that Loonsar from Loonsar? Oh my god, that's Loonsar from internet.com. Oh my god. I know him. Why I oughta stance. When did I get that accent? Since minutes ago, when I went the live button and just started talking like it. You just came home from school, escuela. How was school? I have coffee. I have 9:38 p.m. And it is time to get this stick figure very dead. Okay, so we got one. I gotta get hit right here, so I gotta get this guy walking forward. I'm gonna creep forward. Hello, Luce. Are you animating tonight? If you're an animator, I encourage you to get your stylus out, get your program open. We're gonna be animating. Okay. It's animation time. I realize, guys, sticking with this and the amount of work that will go into this, I really have a chance to be one of the greats, to truly be one of the best to do it. If I dump 4,000 hours straight, 4,000 hours straight into doing this, just like I have been, 3 streams a day, until it is done, I can become truly one of the greats to do it, you know? How exciting. How exciting to even consider. What's up, cop? Oh my god, Lucar! Hello, Lucar! Ayo, what up? Ayo, what up? Ayo, what up? Look at this guy approaching like he's gonna do something. Come on, bro. Come on. You need to get a profile pic? Do whatever you want, man. Do whatever you want, me. We'll just pretend like he's standing behind him. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. He's approaching. He's straight up approaching. I saw that, Modern. I saw your screenshot. That's crazy. I don't know what that guy's... I don't know why he's so adamant. Like, I don't know what his deal is. Like, if it's just about a scam, like, he should understand, like, it's not gonna work. Like, we gotcha. Like, it's clear that it's not gonna happen, you know? Just move on to a different target. And if it's not just a scam, then just chill. Do normal. Like, what's the deal? Yeah, it's not clear if real person or bot. It's not clear. Actions say a mix of both. It quite literally could be a human operating bot accounts or multi-accounting to a level of botism. And then not speaking like how people speak. Speaking in like advertisement speak. You know? Yeah, he threw a friend request at me as well. Look at this guy wait his turn like a good boy. I'll wait, mister. Let's give me my chance. Let me get in this. Just give me a second here. I'll find my groove. Just give me a chance. Put me in, coach. Come on. Wise guy with two big swords. Come on. It's just two big swords kind of guy. Alright, it's my time to shine. My comrade is down. I'm going to stand in position. Alright, well. I am in the strike zone. I mean, I don't know that. I don't know that. I could be the guy that's going to beat him up. For all you know. For all you know, I'm the one. I'm him. I'm Himothy, the stick figure. Can't stop me. What do you got? Two big swords? Psst. Big deal. I got a good attitude. Get out of my way. Get out of my way. You can't stop me. I've got unshakable will, positive attitude. I know Loonsaw. Get out of here. I know him. Oh, that hurts. Never mind. Just kidding. Looks like I'm not special. It's Jover, dude. Pack your bags, dude. I'm detergent famous. Boom. What's up, Skelly? Hi, Cassia. Hello, hello. Okay, that's 2. So I'm going to send him backwards, I guess, on that hit. Back it up, back it up. Talk like you want it. Oh, cool. I don't want that brushstroke at all, bro. Thanks. How is everyone doing? Are we chilling? Are we chilling? Yes or no? Tell me right now if we're not chilling, dude. Are we chilling? I guess he's at his tallest right there. Loki not chilling? Why are you not chilling? But chilling, okay. Wait, is that the slice? That is the slice that takes him out. Boom. I don't know movement enough to animate this thing I'm trying to do. My suggestion is, you want to know my secret? I'll wait for you to ask. You want to know my secret? I don't know either. I've never understood any movement at all. I've never referenced any. I don't know how to do any of this. I've never done sword stuff. I've never done karate. I've never been in combat. I've never done any of this. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm in a constant state of fear and panic. It's all just raw trial and error and figuring things out and crying. A lot of crying. Like a. Yeah, I don't. I don't know any of these things. It's just an infinite amount of raw go-getter attitude and effort and trying and experimenting and failing and then experimenting again and failing. But here's the good news. There's a bunch of like really talented people now that you can just like look at them do it, you know? And I'm not even saying me. I'm saying like go look at other people. Go see what Loonstar's doing. You know what I mean? And you can just copy what they did, and then once don't like copy it, but don't say you did it. You know what I mean? Like learn from it, figure out how they did it, and go, oh, okay, that makes sense. And like slowly you'll get it. You know what I mean? There was a time when none of us knew anything at all, and it was pretty bad. The people who were good were bad, and the people who were bad were bad, you know? But now we all have each other, and we can all share what we learn, what we know, and it's wonderful. But a lot of it is just effort, using your brain. You know what my biggest struggle was? I would say my biggest struggle, even until recently, was not focusing not focusing on making the animation look smooth, but rather engaging my brain and thinking about the actual movement I'm doing. Back in the day, we didn't think about the movement we were doing. We were thinking, how do I make this look smooth? And so limbs and weight distribution and gravity and all these things didn't matter. Foot placement, position, like none of it mattered. It just mattered, can I make the frames look smooth from point A to point B? And that was awful, because what it did was it trained my brain to not think about what the character is capable of doing, but rather turning my brain off and just making the frames look really smooth the whole time. And so then when I saw people like Turquoise start to actually make like creative and useful anticipation with thought of where the position of the character's body was, and you know, what effect does it have on the body when doing X or Y? You know, how do you position your legs if you want to do a bunch of sequences of attacks in a row and stuff like that? Then it was like, oh my god, like that's how you do it. What I got better was being proud of something that looked better than my last thing. Motivated me to keep going because I always wanted to top myself. Exactly. That is a fantastic way to do it. Right now, how I'm staying motivated is by challenging myself. And that's the truth of it, dude. Art as a whole is a series of challenging your fears and doing something that like you don't know if it actually will work. You're like, I don't know. Like I have an idea. Let me test that idea. It's a series of testing ideas and keeping the things that worked well and getting rid of the things that didn't. Because then, like, it's scary to do stuff that doesn't feel comfortable, or like you can't do it. It feels scary to even try because you feel like, okay, I just like, what's the point, right? Like I'm wasting my time. I don't even know what I'm doing. But if you don't do that, then you actually don't ever improve. And if you're just complacent, it's so quickly, especially the people who, if you struggle with ADHD, if the challenge is gone, so is the reward. So if you give up challenging yourself and you just stay complacent with like, okay, well, I'm going to stay within this box. I'm not going to do anything I don't want to do. Then your only expectation is it's going to be exactly how it always is, and you can't actually squeeze any reward from that. You can't get anything out of it because you're just going through the motions to get an expected result, which is so boring. And as soon as you get like the only upside is an expected result, is like, ugh, I don't want to do this anymore. The fastest way for me to lose interest in something is if I beat it. If I feel like I've won. Like if I'm playing in a tournament and I get first place in that tournament and it's filled with the best players in something, like the next day I don't care about doing it anymore. Setting a low bar, a low standard is pretty healthy when you're starting off. Being like, yo, that actually looks pretty good, is super satisfying. 100%. That is one thing that we did have back then that I think is an advantage over people today. Like today, if you're an animator learning, you have a lot more resources, you have a lot more examples, you have a lot more sources of inspiration, you have a lot more access to resources, a lot more options. But you also see a ceiling, you see skyscrapers, and through those skyscrapers that are blasting through the clouds of insanely talented people. Whereas, and that can be really, really incredibly daunting, you know? Versus when we were just like a bunch of idiots that didn't know what we were doing, and the best of us still seemed like, oh my god, maybe I can figure that out. They did like a crazy good job, but like maybe I could do that. And it's like, it strings you along and it gives you hope. But when it's like you're so lost in the sauce compared to like other people who have been doing it for a long time and are really, really good, it could be like, oh my, like, what do I do? What do I do? Like, I can't do that. I'm nowhere. I'll never do that. Dude, watching JH's stuff today, because I watch, like, I'll sit here, I'll say I'm gonna go live. Okay, here's the thing. You guys see when I say I'm gonna go live, I'm going live soon. Usually what that means is I'm either making my coffee or I've made my coffee and I'm sitting in front of the computer. There's been many, damn near every single day I go live, at least once throughout my 3 streams. I'll sit here for like 30-45 minutes. And I'll just be staring at like Exortine's animations, JH's animations, or even like Vinny or some of these other ones that I found on YouTube. And I'm just like going through their frames one at a time. And I'm like, dude, I'm so far from this. How do I get here? Like, how do I get my brain to that point? And I sit here and I'm just like paralyzed. And it's that fear that sets in of like, you're not going to be able to improve. You're going to be stuck here forever. You know? And it's like, and I'll sit there and I recognize that it's happening and I go, nope, I don't care. It doesn't matter. Like, I will improve. And I know this because I've done this for so many different things. I've done this for so many different things in life, separate from animation, where it's like, I can't do this. And then I'm like, wait, no, I don't care. It doesn't matter. I'm only alive right now. The present is the only thing I have to be concerned with. And presently, I'm going to be animating. And tomorrow, I'm going to be better because I'm animating right now. Even if it's incrementally, even if it's just 1% better, I'm going to be better. And if I keep going, the same me, even just 30 days from right now, is going to be unrecognizable. I'm already better. From the beginning of Pyro Night to the end of Junko, I'm already better. It's been a month. It's been a month since I started Pyro Night. And Junko's released tomorrow. That's 2 animations over a minute and a half, around a minute and a half of work. And I am a better animator than I was the beginning of Pyro Night. That's 30 days. And I'm gonna keep getting better. Ew, 6 a.m. gross. Yo, when school starts, I'm gonna have 0 people watching me. Actually, no, Loonsar will be here. Loonsar and Josh. School's gonna start, then you're all gonna be gone. Divi's here. But Divi, do you have to go back to school? I took a leave today. Okay, but you do have school. Or will have school, I should say. I have to go back in a week. You see what I mean. Then how are you going to be here? I'm going to lose all my people to school. Stupid school, man. There's a reason why it looks like prison. They're prepping you to be either a worker or in prison. It conditions you for both. It's an insane setup. Whoever thought of it is literally a villain. It conditions you to do something you don't want to do for 8 hours a day minimum for little to no reward other than survival, and you're expected to excel. And it mimics the same aesthetics, food, and timeline as prison. So that if you don't end up being a good worker, then you can go to prison. Maybe that's not funny. Sorry. Stay in school. Do good. It's not funny because the truth hurts. Yeah, but it's not my job to deliver you heavy truths. My job is to draw stick figures. Don't listen to me, okay? I'm just a stick figure guy. I'm essentially professionally 12 years old, okay? I drew stick figures for a living until I played with Pokemon cards for a living. Now I'm drawing stick figures again. Don't listen to me, okay? I'm professionally 12 years old. You're legally not allowed to take my advice. What's up, Rogue Jackie? You didn't give me the TH this time? Despicable. Come on, champ. Get in the strike zone. There you go. Look at you go. Catch your friend. Help your boy. I'm close to finishing something I think you will like. Yeah. Don't threaten me with a good time, bro, Jackie. Catch your friend. Good job. He almost fell. Whew, that was a close one. Sure hope you don't get sliced in this zone that you're in currently. Just ignore that big red slice and red X on your head, okay? I need you to not pay attention to that. It is not important. Please look away. Don't mind that, okay? It is not what it looks like. Just keep on keeping on. Oh, looks like you fell down, so you can go ahead and scoot back. Oops. Say, oh no, friend. I can't help you. Why did you fall down? As a pivot animator, I felt so free when I used Flash CS6 or CS6 for the first time. I can actually draw the visual effects and properly scrub through the frames however I want. Isn't it beautiful? The X on his head is calling to him. I know. He's like, oh, I gotta get out of here. Oh boy. Slice. Well, let's call that in half. I think that's fair to call that just a slice in half. Shoom. Boom. Clean. Clean, know what I mean? Boom. Alright, let's see how it looks up to that point. Just combing through them. Look at all the snowballs. How fun is that? He pushes him back in. He pushes him. I didn't even plan for that, but it literally doesn't look like he catches him. It looks like he shoves him, which is even funnier. He's like, yeah, you're out of here. Please don't skip school for my streams, okay? You don't need to skip school, okay? Stay in school, do good. Be happy. Enjoy being a kid. Okay? Do all of those things. School is fun. Interact with people. People that are mean are sad. Don't hang out with them, okay? Feel bad for them, but don't let them bring you down. Always be yourself. I won't do that unless... I don't know. He said unless. Do. Making some legs. Dude, I'm so excited for Junko to come out tomorrow. But I will preface this with something that if you ever get into content creation, it is the largest indicator that you will be successful at content creation, and I can't stress it enough. Regardless of how well or not well your content does, you should not let it affect what you do in a negative way. For instance, I worked 40 hours plus on Pyro Night, and I think its grand total was like just over 1,000 views, which pretty much every single post of just photos on my TikTok that I'd uploaded had done better than that. But I love it so much. I watch it almost every single day, and it still gives me inspiration to keep going on what I'm doing now. So even if Junko socially flops, I don't care. I like it, and I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing regardless, because I like it. Dude, he gets rocked here, by the way. What's up, Spiffy? What? That's not what I wanted. Hello? Is it just right there? It's a pretty cool idea, but unfortunately I've already gone through and completed both. You know, I could probably even connect this like this. Who's this new guy? This is Ski Buddy. He has 2 skis that are swords that, upon hit, spawn homing snowballs that shoot out from the target location where they were hit, and after a brief moment, those snowballs will hunt down nearby targets. Those aren't necessary. I can do this if I want. Ooh, he's coming through him. Coffee. Boom. He combed through them. We have more hits here too, so I gotta get another figure in the way. Another baddie. What's up, Crow? How's Crow doing? You know, I always like a guy that's like kicking. Can I get him kicking? I guess not. I don't need to have him kicking. Crow good, for real. You can throw some miscellaneous practice punches. Feel better about himself. Sometimes punching is a confidence booster, you know? Do you think it's overall easier to animate with a drawing tablet, or is it different for different people? Since I've always found it's easier to draw with mouse, even though I have a nice tablet. I would say it's objectively better to animate with a tablet. But I will say there is a grace period when you get a tablet where you're actually worse. And that grace period when you're getting used to the tablet and you're actually worse tends to scare people off. And they think, oh my God, the tablet actually didn't make me better, it made me worse. And then they revert back to what they were comfortable with. I definitely experienced that. I experienced that when I went from a pad tablet to a screen tablet. Pretty bad as well. With the exception, I would say that there's certain line animators that like mouse because they have better control with mouse. Because they're animating with line anyways, and line, you know, you're clicking points rather than and skewing objects rather than redrawing. And with a mouse, that's fine. So if you're doing like something in pivot, or you're using mouse or using line tool, and not doing any kind of like visual effects and stuff like that, then you'd probably be okay. But typically, if you're drawing, you're going to be better off using a tablet. Pen's pencil hold shape destroys my hand, so I use mouse. How much RAM does my PC? I don't even know. I built it and I don't remember, to be honest. Yeah. Throw my punches. I'm ready. I'll take you down. You saw what I did to the air. You don't stand a chance. Dun, 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 dun. Sliced. I need this guy out of my way so I can see what I'm doing. Get out of my way, guy. Oh. There we go. Tasty. I want this guy reacting a little bit, but not too much, because I want to actually animate him getting hit by snowballs here. Oh. Okay, there we go. Okay, because we have snowballs that have yet to come out of or land on. I think these snowballs go nowhere, right? Yeah, so we can actually have those hit him. Boom. But this hit actually spawns a snowball. Boom. I've been doing more than one here and there. I want to make some hover for longer too. You want to animate Andre? Go for it. He is a good teacher. I'll animate these coming apart later. Boom. I don't know, when does Unk start? I turned 35 on the 2nd. So if you guys think you're old, you're not. Sorry to tell you. All right. Thank you. Boom. He got crumpled bigly, yeah. Okay, we can start thinking about what we're going to do next here. I'm going to look back at my animation beats that we have and see if there's... I think I want to ski. I want to ski on one ski while we, like, swipe through another, like, horde of figures. Thoughts? Folded. Just gonna ragdoll this guy all the way out. Okay. Doink. Oink. Okay. Here we go. We will see where we're at now, see if this reaction holds up. Alright, let's take a look. I think the camera might need to be fixed. We'll see. The snowballs are so fun. All right, back over to Ski Buddy. Okay. Let's check it out. Boom! Nice, dude. He explodes. Pop. I'm telling you, Pale Buckhead's terrifying. Sticko Boom for real. Sorry. I got one more probably. Be warned. Ah, there we go. Wait, what? Oh, these are locked. Wait, where'd my sword go? Hello? I'm missing a sword? No, I'm not missing a sword. Ink! What's up, buddy? We are Bing chilling. Fought a lot of vampires in the D&D. Nice. Thank you, thank you. We're trying, we're trucking along. Okay, I want him to bend down, jump up, throw down a ski, and then run on it. So bend down is step 1. Bend down. Yes, he can travel on the skis. Always been obsessed with the hoverboard type character. Jump up, kick back, whip around, and spin? Possibly. Doink. Are there any weapons / fighting styles that you think are / were underrepresented in Hyun Sojo or HG? I don't really know any fighting styles. I would say that I don't know of anything that was any weapons that were underrepresented, but I would say that swords were overrepresented, and rightfully so, because Alpha was so popular and Turquoise was so good at using swords, and we were all kind of like piggybacking off of the things that he was learning, that it just made sense for people to really try out swords a lot, because that's what the Pioneer was doing, you know? So swords are good teachers of physics for sure. Almost done storyboard. Okay. Some gnarly trails you got there. You got some good swings. I like those poses there for your swings. They have good follow throughs. I like your follow throughs. Nice job. But what I find amazing to an animator is if they can animate weapons that are harder to animate. For example, Hexel. He can animate almost every weapon with ease, right weight to it. Yeah, Hexel does a great job. For real. Good night, Skelly. Thank you, buddy. Three-way nunchucks. Nunchucks would be pretty bad. I think a whip, a long-range whip, is very difficult for me, at least. Like a long whip. Have you seen any pioneers in terms of style that have influenced people in the same way as Alpha and Turquoise? If I had to judge it per capita, like a ratio of a proportionate size, I don't think there's been anyone, any single one person who has influenced the majority of individuals as strongly as he did in his time. And you have to realize that is also due to the fact that he was so in the stratosphere. They're like, okay, to put it in perspective, it's like if you were to just plot it on a chart, right? If you were to plot it in the chart, like here we are, here's all of us as animators, right? Here's the chart. And then if you were, like, this is, I don't know, good, right? This is like how good you are. And this is like, what could be this way? How good you are. And I don't know how many animations you have out, like number of animations to be inspired by, right? Like the people who were good would be like in a chart like this, right? People who were learning will be like over here, right? Like they're like down here on the chart. He was like over here. So it was really clear. Like there might have been like a couple outliers here, but they also didn't have very many animations, you know? They'd have like one or two. So they were really good, but like few animations. He had a ton of animations that were all like top level. So now, like, so when people are looking at it, like you really had one really strong example to look at. And nowadays the chart is a lot more mixed, you know? There's a lot of people that are really good and also have a lot of animations, right? And there's a couple outliers that are up here, you know? But you also have so many that are in this zone that a lot of people could be plenty inspired by and not to say that Turquoise was the only good person. It's not really what I guess I'm exaggerating the chart to kind of illustrate my point a little bit better, but there was far less truly good stick figure animators. There's far less truly impressive stick animators out there that other stick animators wanted to emulate. And so I would say when the community was smaller and they had him to look up towards, he probably influenced a higher percentage of those people than any number of other talented individuals that are out right now, because the pool of individuals is also a lot larger with a lot more other really, really, really crazily talented people to look up to also. Does that make sense? Resh Umbrella got up there as well, probably not as high though. See, Resh would have been one of those examples. Well, also Resh was kind of later in the curve. Like once Resh was put out, Resh Alpha versus Umbrella, people were already getting better, and there, I mean, he was still at the top, up there with Turquoise, obviously. But there was more animators even around Resh's time period when he released that were better than like prime Turquoise, unbalanced Shock series Turquoise. Shock series unbalanced Turquoise was probably the largest stick figure animator gap, while simultaneously the most inspiring individual during that period of time. And also Resh had very few animations in the stick figure world. That was pretty much like one of the charts where he's really, really good, but he has like one thing to look after, right? Versus Turquoise had like, you know, a very good staircase of quality and insanity. Yeah, Shock is like the stick figure Big Bang. It really is. It honestly, I was gonna say shocks me, but I use a different term, I guess. It honestly astounds me that when we do all these Dojo Cast interviews, that there's not more people saying that Shock was what got them into animation, because dude, there was a time where you could tell when someone was coming from YouTube because of shock, or even like Newgrounds because of shock, and it was constant. It was like beyond Kill KJ levels of constant. It was really the only reason anyone was signing up for Fluid Anims ever, was because they were coming from shock in one way, shape, or form. $11 RSG fights from Turquoise is insane. Yeah, and like a handful of those were also done in like a day or two. Like he just cranked them. They were like speed battles for him. There had to have been a period where Turquoise was animating like 10 hours a day every day for like a year straight. It had to have been. Or the fact that like he was like such a prodigy at it that he would be challenging himself to do something new, and it wouldn't take him long, and he wouldn't redo it. Like, he wouldn't have to redo much anything. He would be redoing in the middle of making his frames, so that by the time he got to a point where he could play it, he'd already adjusted the things in real time before even looking at it play back. So it didn't have a chance to not work out. I've been watching stick figure fights since before I can remember, maybe 4th grade, but probably what inspired me to actually animate myself was the new JoJo website. Really? The website launch? That's awesome. What about the website made you want to come back? Cashews with gummy bears sounds awful. Can I just say this too? I feel like we go to the ice cream, like Cold Stone every once in a while. And if you ever go to Cold Stone or any kind of like ice cream parlor, I feel like there's a play that immediately this just reminded me of this because we went there earlier today, what you just said. There's this thing that almost every single person seems to do that's like a scrub at ordering themselves ice cream from an ice cream parlor. And I swear it needs to be studied because it's so consistent. The person who's never been to an ice cream parlor thing ever before, and I'm talking adults and children alike, including myself when I was a kid, the children's order, or the scrub for 55-year-old who's never been to an ice cream place where you can choose whatever you want to put on it, their order is always some awful random ice cream. And by that, I mean like cotton candy, bubble gum, something that's just wacky, right? Like not like chocolate, vanilla, Oreo, cookies and cream, Rocky Road. Like they pick something that's like rainbow colored and named after a unicorn. Maybe even it's even called unicorn, right? They pick something wacky and random, right? And then there's 2 ingredients that they always get. They can get anything that they want, right? But they always choose these 2 ingredients every time. I did the same thing when I was 5, with the first time I ever had an ice cream, parlor interaction where you could choose anything you want. It's some awful random ice cream. Okay? And then gummy bears. And sprinkles. Even if they literally hate gummy bears and don't get sprinkles on anything, this is the base layer order of a person who's never been to an ice cream parlor every single time. You could tell because they ask for samples of everything and they act like they've never tasted ice cream in their life. And then they're like, and they taste like legit dope flavors. And they'll go, you know what? Can I get bubblegum with gummy bears and sprinkles? All of the other flavors there. Oh, and they'll throw in some random fruit. They'll be like, can I get pineapple on there too? And you like, awful. This is disgusting. This is awful. But literally every single time I go into an ice, it's like an NPC thing. I swear. Every time I go into the ice cream place, if there's 10 people in there, there's a group of people that have never, ever, I don't care how old they are, they could be in their 50s, 60s, or 10, they've never been to an ice cream place before where you can choose what you want on your ice cream, and they ask for samples, and then they don't pick any of those samples, they pick the most random ice cream possible, and it's gummy bears, sprinkles, and a fruit of some kind. Oh. Bro, are you kidding me? Oh. Bro. Why do I even try? What the hell? That is sick, dude. Oh. It's simple. If you want a good, like a base layer, something that's tasty, it's never gonna go wrong. Get yourself a vanilla, Oreo, and then you can choose, or both, to do chocolate chips plus brownie. Okay. One or the other or both, it doesn't matter. Okay. And this vanilla could also be French vanilla. It also could be vanilla bean. Okay. This vanilla could also be, there's also like an Oreo, vanilla Oreo that they can do. It's like a cookies and cream base. So you can like cookies and cream base. Okay. This is this. Okay, and then chocolate syrup or chocolate fudge. I'm not saying this is the be-all, end-all. I'm saying this is a good, like, base layer. You're not gonna hate it. You're not gonna go wrong. All right, this recipe is, you know what I mean? Start here, and then go out. You know, don't be the bubblegum, gummy bears, sprinkles, pineapple guy. You're gonna hate it and then pretend like you like it because you feel like you made something unique, but really you made like the most default thing that anyone's ever done. It just seems unique. And mint chocolate is good, but it's separate. Like mint is over here. It's an entirely different thing, right? Like you can cross over some of those ingredients I wrote into mint, but mint has to be handled differently. You know what I'm saying? Mint, chocolate mint chip, it has to be treated a little bit differently than like a vanilla or chocolate base that could be over here, because it has that, you know, it's different. It has crossover and it is good, but just, dude, I also think that just gummy bears and ice cream is just awful. Gummy bears in ice cream is awful. They just get hard and cold and flavorless. If I ever stop animating, I'll be an ice cream advisor. Cookies and cream on top. Exactly. I've been a cookies and cream fanatic since I was a baby. Okay? I've been screaming cookies and cream from the rooftops since I was out of the womb. Honorable mention, mint chocolate. Exactly. Exactly. He gets it. I knew Loonsar wouldn't be a gummy bear. Gummy bear sprinkles pineapple on bubblegum child. What are we talking about? Well, I don't know if we're talking about it as much as like someone said something about gummy bears and it reminded me. Well, that's what I'm saying. Loonsar. Okay, tell me, have you ever experienced this? You go to an ice cream place, like a Cold Stone or an ice cream parlor or Baskin Robbins, whatever, and there's always a group of people in there that, I don't care if they're 50, they act like they've never been to an ice cream place ever, and they ask for samples of everything. Then after asking samples of everything, they pretend to consider, and then they think to themselves, you know what, I'm gonna get something wacky, I'm gonna get something crazy, I'm gonna be an original, and they choose like whatever the most insane colored looking ice cream is, and it's usually like cotton candy or bubble gum or unicorn, it's called something like that. And then they get sprinkles, gummy bears, and some kind of fruit. And they're like, that'll do, thanks. That's the best thing that's ever been made, by the way. Yeah, I'll have the one with gummy bears, sprinkles, and pineapple. Thank you. You're welcome. On bubblegum? Yeah. Every time, dude, it's like, dude, it's not even specific. This is every single time I go into an ice cream place. Since I was a baby. I did it one time when I was 5, and then I realized, oh, this is awful. Those things together aren't great at all. Those are just like the wackiest things you could think of in front of you put together, and it's awful. But there's always somebody there that does it. This is the best! Yeah, where they choke down. Yeah, is actually. Can I get hot dog water on this? It's gonna be so good, and they pretend to like it, and then they know it's bad. I haven't an ice cream place in person in a bit. My dad mainly just goes and picks it up for the family. That's me. I do that. What we do is a pro tip: if you go to a Cold Stone ever, don't buy the individual things where they're like, I like it a lot, I very like it. Don't get these at all. These are a waste of money. You can buy the pints of ice cream, like we call it bucket. You get 2 buckets. They last us like 2 weeks, and it's the price if we went there one time. And we just get the same thing in each one. And then I go and pick it up. Mobile order. I don't wait in the line. I don't none of that nonsense. And I just walk up and I say, yeah, I just say, I'm here for the bucket. I'm here for my order. And they already know what it is. And they just hand it to me and I walk out. We all like different types. But you can't find a middle ground. Like, I have 2 really picky eaters in my house. And we have a middle ground at least. And we all get the middle ground, essentially. Cookie dough is good. Cookie dough is good, but I don't always like it. I don't always want cookie dough. It can be a bit much sometimes, but it is pretty goated. But it could be too much sometimes. I love it so much while their face contorts eating unicorn poop cotton candy swirl. Exactly. I'm glad that I chose blackberry sauce on my bubblegum flavored ice cream. That paired with these sprinkles that no one has put on their ice cream all month. What a good choice. I really wish they had just some chalk to put on this. It would really tie the flavors all together. We like froyo too. My house is really big on ice cream. My wife really likes ice cream a lot. What? I'm 19K subs? Hold on. I don't believe you. Let's see. I don't... Hold that. We're 19K! Let's go. That means somebody in here subscribed. It has to be. We're popping off. Mint cream with oranges? Sign me up! Exactly. That's wacky. I could pretend that that's good, and everyone will have to be like, oh, gross, and I'll be like, ha ha ha, no, I like it. And they'll have to just believe me. Because I won't give them a chance to think that I don't like it. I'm going to reinforce that I love it. It's so good. Haha, this isn't awful. It's actually really good, and I didn't waste my money. If I accidentally chose something bad, I lied because I don't want to feel I just waste my... Exactly. Haha, no, it's good. I'm going to come here all the time again. I'm in my 60s, but this is the first time I've ever had ice cream. That's the thing that kills me, man. When I see old people do stuff for the first time, I'm like driving? I'm like, dude, you just stopped in the middle of a roundabout. You can be no younger than 60. How do you not know, after 50 years of driving, how a roundabout works? You know what I mean? That's what baffles me. Old people doing stuff that they should have done 100 million times in a row for their entire life, trying to figure it out for the first time after they should have done it for decades. Using the debit card machine that everyone has been using since like the early 90s. Like, you've had 40 years of practice, 30 years minimum of answering the 3 questions on the debit card machine. Driving gets me so anxious because I feel like everyone is judging me on the road. Dude, okay, I have a story. We have to pause, okay? That just reminded me of something else. Don't be afraid of people judging you. Be confident. Confidence is like the safest thing in driving. Like, just be confident with your choices, okay? But I have a story, and I've never in my life wanted to jump out of a car more than when this person that I was in the car with said this. Okay, this is gonna seem insane, and if it doesn't seem insane, then there's something wrong with you, because it is insane. Okay? I was in the car. Paint a picture. Okay? I was in the car. Woohoo! We're in the car. Just imagine that this is the front windshield, right? And I'm sitting here. I'm in the passenger seat, okay? This girl is driving the car, okay? La 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 la. We're in the car. She says, I watch her. We merge on the highway, right? We merge on the highway. She merges on the highway, right? And I just so happened to notice that she actually didn't check. She didn't look in her rearview mirror to see if there was another car in the lane that she was merging to. Okay? And I said, Kelly, how come you didn't look over your shoulder? And she looks at me dead in my face. I'm not joking. And she says to me, I don't look over my shoulder. Nobody does that, because you look like a total nerd when you look over your shoulder. She thought she quite literally does not look over her shoulder because she thinks that you look dorky. You look dorky doing it. I literally, I did this. I literally did this. And I had like an aneurysm in front of her. And I was like, what did you just say? Like, I was not kind about it. I was like, what? Did you just say you didn't want to look like, you didn't want to look dorky looking over your shoulder? She's like, yeah, nobody does that. And I was like, what do you, nobody does that? What do you mean nobody does that? Everyone is you should do that. You should do that, okay? Anyways. Imagine being so insecure that you don't want to look dorky in the middle of driving at the sake of your own safety. What do you mean, brother? What do you mean? Granted, we were much younger. I'll give her the benefit of the doubt, and I don't know her now, but I'll say that hopefully she has since had the time to evolve and grow beyond her previous ways. I'm very much, yeah, I knew that you wouldn't be insecure in that way, Lunsar, but you just saying that reminded me of that, and I had to share. Thanks for the modern day puppet show, no problem. But I to this day, I'm still paralyzed when I think about that. Like, it wasn't one of those moments, like, we were cool enough that I could literally just be honest to her. Like, I wasn't like, oh, ha ha ha, yeah. No, I was like, I was like, Kelly, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. And I made sure I had like deep eye contact when we were out of the car, and I'm like, I cannot stress to you how that is the most insane thing I've ever heard in my life. And you need, Kelly, actually, I'm not even sure if her name was Kelly, to be honest. I can't remember now. But I was like, you have to promise me that you'll get over feeling like a quote-unquote nerd looking over your shoulder, and I need you to promise me that you're always going to do it. I need you to promise me that you're not going to think it's dorky. Actually, I don't care if it's the dorkiest thing on the planet. I really don't care. You need to promise me you're going to do it. Because if you don't, I fear you should not be on the road ever again. Yeah, that was the most insane thing I'd ever heard. But granted, like I said, I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. She's probably grown as an individual. She probably won't be that 50-something-year-old who stops in the middle of a roundabout questioning how a roundabout works for the first time. Even though they've been driving for 40 years. Die or be dorky. Dude, avoiding looking nerdy, when was this? In the 90s? It actually probably was like 2010, 2011. So kind of close. 2010, 2011. Definitely not a concern I've ever had. I've never in my entire life been so concerned with being nerdy. Ever. I was the biggest dork all throughout school, dude. Stone probably was born in I was born in 1990. I was off by a huge amount. That's a crazy thing to say. I am 100% from 1990. I had that concern in my high school. Never talked about any of my online interests ever. You know what's funny is I really didn't talk about my online interests, but it's because nobody did. The internet wasn't really a thing. Like YouTube didn't even exist. The internet wasn't like, it's like to talk about the internet in 2006, 2007, 2008 was almost on par with like chatting about Microsoft Office or Microsoft Excel. It really wasn't. We had MySpace. That was about it, but not everyone had MySpace, and social media wasn't social media like that. The internet was either nothing or just MySpace, and that like it was. I didn't even think about telling anyone about anything I was doing online because I didn't even think it would even register. If I was like, yeah, I have animation website and I make stick figure animations, like I would have to explain every single layer of it. I would have to explain that you can make an animation and it would go online somewhere and that you could watch it. Now I don't care, dude. Now that it's, you know, people use the internet. Chatting in Microsoft Excel. You assume these kids these days know about that? True. Google Sheets. It'd be like talking about Google Sheets. It's just not something you would do at any given moment unless you had an assignment. You wouldn't be like, ah, yes, a fellow Google Sheet user. Let's spend our entire day talking about Google Sheets. You just wouldn't do it. Me and my friend used to talk in Google Doc. You actually could. That's actually smart. That's actually the play. I'm finally done with the art I was working on all this time during stream submissions. Okay. I remember middle school, my entire class used Google Doc. That's crazy. Yeah, that wouldn't be a thing. That's actually insane now that I think about that, though. Hey! That's freaking sweet, Divvy. Check that out. Awesome generation, 25, 19-year-olds might be one of the only ones to actually make the younger generations have it tougher. And just act like it's mail? What do you mean? I hate mail. Mail, exactly. Mail is just another place where I receive junk mail. Mail is just where I get physical spam. I literally hate my mailbox. I only like mail when it comes to like I buy a lot of I buy a lot of cards. Wait, Bro, this isn't drawing anything. Oh, maybe it is, but it's invisible? I was drawing a bunch of invisible lines. Very cool and funny. Like I buy a bunch of cards, I buy a lot of product. Like card product. But that doesn't come in the mail, that just goes to my door. But aside from that, actual mail is dog water. The only thing I get in it is things I don't want. Spam and like bills that refuse to go paperless. Which just pisses me off. Door-to-door salesman? Okay, I think this might just be my antisocial take. I straight up think it should be illegal for people to approach your house. Like, dude, a YouTube ad that knocks on my door? Are you kidding me? I absolutely never answer my door. I never. If you come to my house, even if you're my friend, if I don't know you're coming, you will stand outside. I'm not joking. If I don't know you're coming and you show up at my house, you will stand outside. I'm doing stuff. I'm always doing something. I'm always doing something. I'm never not doing something. In fact, if I'm doing nothing, that is my most important something I could be doing. A non-skippable IRL ad? Are you kidding me? I'm gonna let it time out. Best understand. Off topic, I hate when Uber Eats pizza delivery wait for me to pick up the food. Yes, that is so dumb. We have always done contactless delivery. Dude, contactless delivery with do not ring doorbell. What do? Ring doorbell, knock, stand there. My dog goes absolutely insane. The guinea pigs are freaking out. My cats are now sprinting across the house. I literally want to peel my skin off. And I couldn't be more upset. Like, the feng shui is so absolutely destroyed for the next, like, 15 to 20 minutes minimum. If somebody comes in on your house without permission, I'll just close the door and not care. I don't open the door. They just stand there until, like we all pretend like we're invisible and nobody makes a sound, even though, like, it shouldn't matter, but, like, we all just pretend like if they hear us, then they win. You know what I mean? So we all like, shut up. Just make the only sound be just the dog barking. You know? And then you just look out the thing and you wait for him to go away. And then you, like a goblin, you just crack the door open and grab your treats. One time, when there was someone at my door, I literally dove behind my kitchen island and hid until they... That's what I do. I'm a full-grown man, and if I see a child at my door, I pretend like they're not there, and I hide. I don't walk where there's, like, a window where they can see me pass by. I won't do it. I have to play a very particular game of you can't find me. I'm not here. Yeah. Also, same thing with phone number. If you call me and I don't know you, I'm not answering the phone. If you call me and I know you, I'm not answering the phone. If you call me and I know that you're a person who calls when it could just be a text, I'm not picking it up. There's like 3 people I answer a phone call to that I don't just let go to voicemail. I'm really hard to get a hold of. My neighborhood's pretty safe. We literally behave like mice until this decently sociable dad opens it. Unless he isn't home, then I sneak to check cameras and hope it's the mail. Yeah. Requires me to take my headphones off and stop whatever I'm doing. Yeah, it's not worth. It's never worth. And it's, to me, honestly, it's super disrespectful. We're just not in that we're not in that world anymore where it's like, oh, anyone can come on over whenever. That's not, at least that's not how I am. You absolutely cannot just come over whenever. Like, my house is not ready for you to come over. I'm doing stuff. I've been doing stuff. Like, I got stuff going on. I don't want to just do nothing with you randomly. Dude, my house has business hours and it's never. I'm never open. I'm always closed. Understand this. But the thing is the people that know me, they know this. The people that know me, they know this. I'm a hyper present individual. I'm ever present. Like, if you were hanging out with me, and we are playing D&D, we are playing cards, we're watching a show, we're just talking, we're having coffee, I am there with you. I am there with you. I'm not anywhere else. Same thing goes where if I'm here with you guys right now on stream and somebody were to knock at my door, I'm right here right now with you. I'm not doing that. I'm not answering my phone. I'm not going to the door. I'm not any of that. I'm here right now. How am I supposed to get the Junko animation out if I have watch this unskippable ad IRL? Exactly. I'm never on autopilot. No. I'm toxically ever present, which gives me time blindness really bad. I usually miss appointments for things. I'm an epic reclusive wizard right now. My favorite things to do are this and go outside and play with plants. I'm not joking. I love animals. I love my plants. I just go outside and I look at all the weird bugs and I talk to the bugs. I'm very normal. I promise. I talk to all my spiders. I check and see if there's any like crazy crickets or grasshoppers that are on my stuff. I hang out with my chickens. I see if my crow wants anything. Like if he's brought me anything. My crow brings me gifts. You know how cool it is that I have a crow that brings me gifts? He got me a hazelnut. There's no hazelnuts anywhere in my neighborhood. I have a friend crow that I slowly trained while walking. Me and my kiddo, during school we do a morning walk, and there's two crows that live in our neighborhood, and I brought sunflower seeds, and every day I would throw sunflower seeds at them and then walk away. And then I have this little perch near my chickens, my chicken run, and I would put sunflowers and bird seed and all this stuff on there. They finally figured it out, and one day they left me a hazelnut. We don't have hazelnuts here. They brought me a gift. And I would spend, I'm not spending my mornings gardening. But you know that when I was gone, remember how I was animating every single day, daily? And then I was gone for like 3 months. I was gardening every day. All these like stream gaps, except for the nighttime, I was gardening. And I grew so many things. They're still growing. Not doing as good now because it's like summer, but... And I hung out with my stuff, man. I hang out with my chickens. Or just see what my plants are doing. And straight up, if you're gonna ruin that, I'm gonna be so mad. If you come knocking at my door, I'm gonna be so mad. Sorry, I've brought you sustenance from distant lands. I hope it feeds you for many moons. You know what I think it is? I truly believe it's because those crows observed me gardening and they saw me picking out and buying trees. And I genuinely, in my mind, because they have the IQ of like a 7 to 10-year-old, I think that they say. I think they noticed that I was trying to plant trees. And so I think they got me a seed of a tree that isn't in our neighborhood. I'm sold to that concept. I don't care if that's not it and I'm delusional. I truly believe the crows were paying attention to what I was doing, one, and two, wanted to give me something that wasn't in the neighborhood. Like a prize, like, oh, look, like, because our neighborhood was put together with like the same myriad of trees, right? Like the same developer put in the same, I don't know, like 5 to 10 different trees. There is no hazelnuts trees in the entire neighborhood. And I know this because I walk it. We used to walk it. Well, I didn't walk it in the summer, but we walk it during the winter when it's better temperatures. What spell would you cast on door-to-door salesman? I would just put a cloak over my house and they would just see a field there, an empty lot. What's up, Kaji? Drink liquids in a bowl, pretending I'm dead, and clip farming. If the delusional doesn't cause harm, let's be delusional. That's what I'm saying, bro. We even have a favorite tree. I have a favorite tree we go and talk to when we go on our walks. Trust me. The next time you have if you have a dope tree in your yard, first of all, that's really cool. You actually don't know how lucky you are. 2, put your hand on the tree and just talk to it. I'm telling you, you'll lose your mind. You'll be instantly something magical happens. Yep. There's living things everywhere. We're all just light. We are all just light. You can connect to things that you would never imagine that you can connect with. My parents chopped all the trees in the yard down. They're my favorite trees. Dude, that sucks. I have to walk to a tree that I like. Talking to myself and some furniture, I was extremely alone. I get it. Nah, I don't have any pet rocks. Not anymore. Actually, you know what? I didn't have that. That fad missed me. I'm so sorry. This has been like, I've got like the least amount of animating done tonight than ever before. No, we walk to our favorite tree. We hug it. We hug it and we sit with it and we just put our hands on it and we just hang out and we look up at it. And we just listen. When I say talk to the tree, I don't actually do a lot of actual talking to it. I just sit there and like put my hand on it and just listen. Later, Waddle. I used to talk to the wind like it was an imaginary friend. You should! You should do that! It is your friend. You have no idea. It is your friend, dude. I'm telling you, don't knock it till you try it. If you find a cool tree, or you have a cool tree near you, you don't even have to say anything. I'm not saying you have to go up to it and start talking to it if you don't want to. Just stand, get as close as you can to the tree. You don't have to be hugging it. Put both of your hands on the tree and just look at it. And just sit still. Just sit still and just ground yourself to the tree. And just listen. And I want you to report back. And I almost promise you, you'll get a little bit dizzy. I don't know what it is, but I always get a little bit dizzy. It's super trippy. What are your opinions on the right to disconnect laws? where when you're not working, you can be fully uncontactable. I love that. I wish that that could be a real thing. As someone who's worked self-employed for almost my entire life, I've pretty much permanently been available. And it wasn't until more recently that I've made myself incredibly unavailable. I'm only available on my terms. And I'm also very protective of who I'm around. That's the other thing, is that you need to understand that you don't owe your time to anybody. You don't owe your time or energy to anyone. It is only yours. And you should be very protective of who you share it with. Especially in a physical space. If you are around negative people, they are taking from you. They are actually doing irreparable harm to you. At least in the short term. And you do not owe them anything. And it took me a lot of my adult life to figure that out. Another thing I would suggest for you to do to learn a little bit about yourself is let me show you something. There's this thing called the genetic matrix of human design. And there is a couple different types of humans designs that you could be. I am what's called a projector. If you look up your birthday and the time you were born, there's only one of, like, I think 5, or is it 3 to 5 human design types, and you'll find that more likely than not, whatever it comes up with, you'll find you match it pretty damn well. And based on your human design, certain way people can affect you just being around you. I would highly suggest looking it up if you're interested. Human design. But based on your human design, people with certain energies can be taking from you when you don't want them to be. And that can negatively impact you. I'm sure you guys have seen those personality type quizzes, right? Like the official ones, not like those ones that from BuzzFeed or whatever, but the ones that like tell you if you're an ENTP or an INFL or whatever. You can pair that with your human design, and it'll tell you a lot about what you already know about yourself, but it'll give you more insight as to how you might handle different situations having that kind of backing behind it. I am an INFJ. I don't know if you ever heard INFJ before. INFJ, and my human type is projector. Which is so funny because this is something that I've only learned in recent years. But I've definitely, once I learned what these things were, it just made sense. Because my whole thing is like, I project out in energy for others to receive. But I'm also very open to receive energy from other people in a way that can negatively affect me if there's people who are willing to take from me. So if there's people who want to take advantage of me, I will probably more likely than not openly give them my energy. But I'm toxically positive, ever present, and I want to be a force for other positive things in the world. You know? But in learning this about myself, I understand that I need to be protective of my energy, and I need to put myself around people that I want to be around and not subject myself to people who can just take. But that's why I'm here with you guys. But it's funny because like it's things I already knew about myself, but having something that kind of like backs it up and helps kind of like reaffirm certain things that I already felt helps you make decisions about myself. PTSD and ADHD, I think if you're in the realm of stick figure animation or animation in general, the vast majority of us are going to be somewhere on the ADHD and or on the autistic spectrum in some way, shape, or form. That's just from my experience. That is not everyone, but this has been the wombo combo that I've experienced since, I don't know, I was even aware of either of these things being on the table, which was probably around like 2007, 2008. There's a certain type of interests, like animation as a whole doesn't make sense as something that most neurotypical people would pick up from a perspective of being a hobby. Not that they cannot, but it definitely lends itself to a certain set of interest types. I think I'm gonna go zooming from this. Oh, we're zooming. I did a Matrix thing and it freaks me out about how accurate it is about me. I know, it's pretty trippy. Look up human design. Look up human design, put in your date of birth and the time you were born, and it'll tell you a lot, and it might freak you out. In a good way. And of course, as always, take it with like a grain of salt because I'm just a random dude who draws stick figures online. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just sharing with you guys something that I've found that's helped me. As someone who is older, I'm always open. Not even just older, just as somebody who is talking to you, I'm always willing to share the things that interest me or the things that have helped me in my present or my past. Because I feel like if it benefits somebody, why would I not share it? I think I would have protected myself from some harm from people that I didn't need to be around had I'd known some of these things earlier in life that I'd speculated about, but I didn't really have hard evidence or something else sourcing it to give me an observer perspective. Oh, I like this. I like this like this. Wait, I can get too distracted by this. I already wasted time sleeping. Yep. I came from a human design to tell me I'm going to order Fruity Tooty ice cream with battery acid. Barely got done with the Castle Crashers new DLC where you could make characters. Tried it out for the first time. Had a blast. It's in the submissions. Ooh. Let's see. Oh my. Dude, what? That is adorable. Order SpongeBob ice cream with 5 tanks of uranium. Dude, okay, off topic, on topic. I'm genuinely so excited for Junko to come out. I love setting myself little self-imposed deadlines, like having release date. There's something so fun about having something exciting ahead of you that is like low risk, you know? I hate dates. I hate when I have a date of something I have to do, even if it's like a trip or something that I want to go on. Like if I was going to Disneyland or something, which I do actually enjoy going to Disneyland. We have a good time. But like even if we're going on a Disneyland vacation, I hate waiting for something. I really can't stand like when I have an appointment for something, even if it's something I want to do. But having like a release date of just something coming out or something like a game that's going to come out or something that I really want to play, I love that. I love a good non-threatening, a good old non-threatening, low risk, low stress date of something coming up, you know? I find sleeping comfortable too, one of my best hobbies right now too. Dude, I actually am terrified of sleep. I have some sleep issues. I get tremors and I have some really severe sleep apnea. So sleeping is scary for me. I actually try to keep myself on a good sleeping schedule so that it doesn't get bad. But there's some nights where I try to go to bed and it just doesn't happen. Like I'm really, really tired, but the tremors will keep my body awake. It's pretty awful. Finally, I've been trying to find where this is. Yippee! I love sleep apnea. Yeah, I did a sleep study test, and they said that I stop breathing on average every 3.5 minutes. And there's a fairly decent likelihood that I have died in my sleep. If not once, maybe multiple times. And I was like, oh, cool. And then they did the sleep study where I go into the place and they tack me up to the machine with all that stuff on your face. And they said they cranked the knob and they couldn't get me underneath. They couldn't get me to stop. The best they could do with the sleep apnea machine pumping my lungs was, I think, once every 15 minutes. And that was like maxing the knob. And they said I'm going to have to come in again to do it again to get the machine that breathes in and out for me and not just in, or not just helping me breathe in. And it's like $700 every time to take the test. And I'm like, I'm not doing this. I'll just die, I guess. Just give me a chance. I have a nose strip that I wear that helps me breathe, but getting old sucks, man. It is what it is. Sleeping is not as fun for me. I have a little bit of anxiety about it. But I promise I'm okay. Trust. I'll be fine. I've been fine this whole time. I'll continue to be fine. If I've died in my sleep, and that's an if still, he didn't tell me I had, I haven't stayed dead, so somebody write that down. Know what I'm saying? But that's also why I sound like a cartoon character, is because I have a deviated septum, which my understanding is that you have your nose, right? Your nose is something like this. Inside your nose, you have these channels like this. Well, in here is your septum, somewhere in there, and mine's like pinched like this. So on one side, no matter what I do, I have like a scabbed wall that I can't breathe through. And this other side is just like mildly obstructed by comparison. but I can't breathe out of this side at all. And then my tongue, when I sleep, my tongue covers the back of my throat. And so between these two things, every 3.5 minutes, I stop breathing. But that's also why I sound the way that I do. So if I get it fixed, it's really expensive surgery. And I probably won't sound like a cartoon character anymore. What am I going to do if I don't sound like a cartoon character? That's like my whole thing. It's only terrifying if you think about it. Listen, it's only scary if you think about it. And I just choose to not think about it. I'm pretty good at it. Trust me, with my general anxiety disorder, dude, it messed me up for a long time. It took me a hot minute to get into a position where I could be not freaking out. But that was years ago now. Yeah, your voice, your whole identity. I guess you're just gonna die. You know, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, dude. I've been saying that. Trust me, I'm gonna be around for a long time. I can't scream like a Mickey Mouse, nor have a deep voice like a narrator. I have like a multi-tone voice. I think it's called like polyphonics. Have you guys polyphonics? Have you ever heard of that before? I don't actually have a polyphonic voice, but I feel like I have a polyphonic voice because I have a deep voice that sounds high pitched at the same time. Like I sound like, to me, from my own mind, which is hard to not hear yourself, is I have a man's voice, but it sounds high pitched at the same time. Like Charlie Day from Always Sunny. A reclusive wizard that communes with nature and animals and is tormented not only while he's awake by terrible ice cream flavors, but also while he sleeps by nose ghouls. Exactly. Oh, dude. I gotta show you this one video that gives me chills every time I see it. There's this one singer. She's one of the few people in the world. Have you guys ever heard of Diana Ankudinova? Let me show you this. I'll take this copyright strike for this. Hold on. Ready? This will be worth it, I promise. I actually don't know if this is the video for it or not. If you haven't seen this yet, she's one of my favorite singers because she... Such a unique voice. Have you heard this before? She's polyphonic. You hear how her voice is really deep, but it's high pitched at the same time? I gotta show you that there's a very specific video that I want, though. Hold on. Oh, I have to find the very specific one. I think it's this. Yeah. Check this out. It's so good, dude. I wonder if she has sleep apnea. Listen, it's like halfway through this. You have to hear this. I'm gonna mute myself. It's coming up when she drops her voice. It's not even this part. When she drops her voice, watch. Right here. Bro, this part right here, every time, I'm telling you, that when I heard this, it changed me. So I'm so glad you guys had the appropriate reaction. It's called polyphonic. It's one of the few people, it's a very, 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 very rare thing. She's simultaneously, she's not singing two notes. She's simultaneously low note and high note at the same time. And I swear to you, when I need to get inspired and I need to feel something in my body, I find this video and I listen to this. Specifically this part. Like, it's really good leading up to this, don't get me wrong. But she's almost like what I think a siren should sound like. You know what I mean? We're like sailors, you know, sailor sirens. Where they're at sea, and even though they are at sea and they know about sirens existing, if you were to hear this, I think even conscious at sea, if I hear this, I'm still going to be drawn to it, even if I know it's a siren. Listen. The drop, dude. Literally a one-of-one human. This part, dude. Oh my god. Yeah, humans could be so cool. She's one of my favorite humans. I don't know how else other to put it than she's like incredible. I'm so fortunate to be on the planet the same time she is. Because that's just so, to me, like that's so awesome. It's so cool. It always gives me chills, and it's so cool. Because like there's really good singers, don't get me wrong, but then there's a really good singer that is like a one-of-one human at the same time, which is like it's like on a different level. Polyphonic. Diana Ankudinova. I can always say it wrong. Ankudinova? Ankudinova? I don't know. But kudos to her, man. I'm so glad you guys had the right reaction to that and that you hadn't seen it already, because that's exactly how I felt when I heard it. I was like, I gotta listen to this on loop forever. And if you ever forget her name, because I forget her name all the time, just I remember the word polyphonic. Look at polyphonic singer and she'll be the first one. I feel, so that's why I brought up polyphonic. I feel as though I'm polyphonic in the sense that I feel as though my voice is lower. Like I have a low, like, not a low, like, deep baritone voice, but I have a man's voice, but simultaneously I sound higher pitch. And part of that is because of my my nasal passageway being blocked. Right, my nose, my deviated septum, this pinching right here, it causes like a nasaliness to my voice. So it's like part nasally, part higher pitched while being the lower tone. And I feel as though if I got surgery and fixed that, I don't even know what I would sound like. So there's that. I mean, breathing's pretty dope, but... At what cost? Breathing at what cost? I'm not actually polyphonic though, but that's just like how I feel one way that I can describe it, even though that's not actually what's happening. What she is doing is actually polyphonic. What a nice time to join the stream. Oh my god, we've been on a journey. I've done so little. I'm so sorry. I have not been a good animator this stream, I'll tell you that much. But it's okay. This is kind of like a victory lap night anyways, because we got Junko coming out in like a few hours. I sound like an emotionless kid, but I can do a Rick impression really well. An emotionless kid. It's fine, okay. Do you like NASCAR? Oh my god. I actually, okay. I used to have a ton of die-cast cars. My entire family, one side of my family, they're all mechanics. When I was a kid, I used to sand cars for money. I don't know if you ever sand cars before. But when I was a kid, I used to work on, they'd give me a door like this. And what I would do is I'd sit and they'd give me like a couple dollars. And I would sit with my little sandpaper and I would sand the doors. Because one side of my family is they're all body work people. Not mechanics, they do body work. So if your car gets wrecked and you need a job where your car needs to get painted and fixed, like fix the body work of the car, that's what one side of my whole family did. And so one thing that was really big, you know, this is little me, my backwards hat, no beard, sanding away on a car door. Hey, Crow for Crow, thank you for the $5 for Junko's birthday. Thank you, buddy. And one of the big things for them, I appreciate you, man, was NASCAR. And so I used to always get those cars, those die-cast cars, and they'd have like a 1 to 20 size ratio, and it'd be like Dale Earnhardt Jr. or something, or Jeff Gordon. And they would give me those for Christmas, and I had like a huge stack of them, just like a ton of them. And they were like, "Oh, these are gonna be worth a bunch of money. You have to keep you have to keep these." They're super cheap now. They were like $100 a piece, and they're really not worth anything. But my grandpa, who owned the auto body shop, he used to take us to NASCAR events down south in California. California shaped something kind of like this. Right here is like Sacramento, or not Sacramento, like the Bay Area. Los Angeles is right here. This is where people think the entirety of California is this area right here. This is Los Angeles. I live up here. The Bay Area is in here, and the Bay Area has a lot of NASCAR stuff. And so we would drive and we'd see NASCAR probably like, I want to say like 2005 to 2009, maybe 05 to 09. We went like once a year to NASCAR and watched people go left, you know, in Sonoma Valley. And then they'd wreck, and then we go, yeah, the crowd goes wild, yeah, wreck something else, and then they do some slow laps, and then and you just stay in the heat, and you take a dump in a porta potty, and you wait until they wreck again. So I did get into NASCAR a little bit. I was never like super big into it, but my family was, at least my grandpa was. Yeah, Sonoma Raceway. Exactly the Sonoma Raceway, which actually isn't like just this. The Sonoma Raceway is actually somewhat unique because it's like, you know, it's like it's not like this, but like it's got like more to it and stuff. And then there's like stands right here, and then there's like stands over here and over here, and we usually would be at these stands on this hillside here. I'd be like right here. Woo! Yeah! This is where we'd be. And then there'd be porta potties over here. What's funny is this is actually accurate, and if you know the Sonoma Raceway, you might actually know exactly where I'm standing. Yeah, the uphill turn. Yeah, exactly. But my grandpa used to get like the tent. They'd have like the tent event things. You know what's crazy is when, okay, this is actually how I can tell when I was doing NASCAR. When was Vitamin Water founded? Launched in 2000. Okay, so when I was originally going to NASCAR is when they were just trying to promote vitamin water in the shelves. Vitamin water, they were handing out free vitamin water everywhere because they're trying to get people to drink vitamin water. And I was like, oh, this is pretty good. Vitamin water? Okay, the two new products that were coming to existence at this time when I was going there was vitamin water. Vitamin water and chewy Tums. Those are the two things that they were handing out for free. And they'd have a bunch of like half-naked ladies just like handing them out everywhere. Yeah, here! Has ta-da! Has some vitamin water in tubs. The two ingredients you definitely need while at the race course. I was like, I don't know, 12 or 13. So actually, it's probably like 2002. It's probably like 02 to like 07. It's probably when I stopped going to NASCAR stuff. Yeah. Yeah, I liked vitamin water a lot. They used to be one of my favorites. Okay, we're gonna start zooming here. Let me see. Don't make him do it. Oh no. You can't stop me now. Roger, roger. I'm trying to get this camera at work right because I want to start a fresh stage and have him like just start combing through people. This actually came out pretty nice. This might be a fairly decent place to call it, to be honest. Speaking on cars and racing, Initial D helped me rediscover my love for cars. If you love cars, I have some cars. I have a 74 Chevy Nova. It's blue. And then we also have a 66 GMC Stepside. Truck. And this has a 350 V8. And this has a I think there's a 350 V8 but it was a crate engine. It's got the board heads. Hey, so what's your favorite sandwich? PB&J, baby. PB&J. On explosions, dude, they're big and they're hot. They pop, dude. Dude, explosions, loud. Explosions are loud. Later, Cassia. Okay, you know what? I think I'm gonna kill it here because I need to start setting up the uploads for Junko. I need to have them scheduled for tomorrow. I need everybody tomorrow on the uploads for Junko on YouTube and TikTok. Hit all the buttons, click all the things, leave a comment, because you're going to be one of the few people who see it first when you open up, most likely. And that means you are of my top fans, and you will decide whether or not they advance to the next row of content, okay? So be sure I will post up the links as soon as I have them available in Stone Mountain. But otherwise, I plan on releasing Junko 7 a.m. PST. 7 a.m. PST. To put that in perspective for you, it's about 6.5 hours from now. 6.5 hours from now is when Junko will be alive. Okay? Yeah, buddy. All right, friends. I will see you all tomorrow. You know the usual. We'll have the morning, afternoon, and it should be 9. It should be 9 Eastern, I think. 9 or 10 Eastern. 10 Eastern. 10 a.m. Eastern, I think. Anyways, friends, I'll see you tomorrow, okay? I love you. Have a wonderful rest of your night, morning, evening, wherever you are. Okay? Bye. Bye.